starting off with the legs. The legs, I think, are like for a while he had like the silver gradient with the black feet, black Paraka feet, because black Paraka feet, lol lol lol. But I don't know. As time went on, I added like black Borak eyes there. There's a little slope piece there. It's hard to see because a lot of them is black, and I apologize if certain bits of this video are a little unclear. Um, this is a design I've had since the second version. Um, Having these little claw bits, like the Pahatu Nuva claw with a Viscerac foot, like this is a very, like, I want to say well-known design on Shadow. A design that wasn't even mine. It was a friend on BioTube I had at the time who came up with the design, and I used it. If you know who you are, and you do, thank you for, again, I never actually credited you for that, so I want to thank you for that. But the leg is it's simple. It's really chunky. It's really meaty. As I went along, and Hero Factory started coming out, I added different bits to them, such as these little claw bits that came out during the 2.0 wave of Hero Factory. And as a lot of how Shadow's built, as he got older, the bulkier he got. And it's just a Borak skull with a bunch of different greebly bits trying to fill everything in. Upper legs, I added, I guess you can say the Mari armor. This is the armor that was, I forget his name. I'm sorry. But, there's that. The upper leg is very simple. There are a lot of different greebly bits. You can definitely see better in the photos of the slideshow and on a Flickr. But you can tell how this is built and everything looks good. Going up to the waist. The waist, I thought this was kind of funny because I forgot I even did this. So he has these little, I don't want to say, he got these little long rifle guns on the side of his legs with a little bayonet at the end. And, I forgot that I can do this and give him, like, this crotch cannon, which I think is kind of funny. But, they are meant to, sorry I bumped the mic there for a sec. They can bend down and do that. So he's got double penis cannons. That's not canon. Don't worry about that. It's just dumb. But, these do detach, and then these little clips where they store right here on the side, on the waist. And he's got this little, bayonet gun, which, it's kind of impractical. He has a hard time holding it. I'm not going to try and fiddle with him and get it in his hand. But, I thought it was a cool little weapon, if not to just add armor to the sides of his legs, which I thought were kind of a little bit lanky up top, so this kind of helps fill that in. The most boring part of the MOC is definitely the waist. Definitely the most boring, because it's just a bunch of Technic bits on the back. Definitely nothing on his butt, so that's definitely a thing. Now let's talk about the torso. This is where some stories start coming in. And there's some cool little features. I mean, he's had certain, like, this V-shaped torso bit I've had since the very first version. A lot of the different aesthetic hues I've had on this guy have been the same since the first version. As new sets came out at the time, and some new parts, and definitely my skill went up, especially making custom stuff. Different bits of him have changed. So, like, the Viscerac feet here, creating the V-shape, has been there since forever. The chest piece was different for a while, if I'm going to tell the dumb story. An earlier version of Shadow, I think the third or the fourth version, had a crystal in his chest, like a nightmare crystal or whatever. I don't exactly remember what it was. But at the time, I was dating someone, and as a gift, I gave them Shadow's heart piece, and I put it on a necklace, and I gave it to her. And to symbolize that I gave it to her, I took Shadow's heart and gave it to her. So to cover that up, there's a Black Knight True chest plate in there, and instead there's like a little tinier crystal, which I think I added later on, I don't remember, to symbolize that was gone. You can call that sentimental, you can call that really stupid, but it's what I did at the time. And that's the honest fact about that. I haven't covered articulation, and I'm not going to do it until now because it's obvious. Legs can bend. He's got ankles. Everything works. The cool thing I love about Shadow in terms of articulation is the shoulder articulation, because he does have moving shoulders, but the Viscerac foot moves along with it. So it's I always thought this would be a cool thing of animation that I never did. Oh, something fell off. I thought that'd be a cool bit of animation where I can make his shoulders go up and down. It's like a breathing effect to where his body and torso is moving along with it. I think that's pretty nifty. Another thing, especially this was a time when I was making custom bodies, and I purposely decided to make it look like an Anika torso, but it would actually be custom, which was the main version of this build was made in like 2010, 2011. No, 2010. It was made in 2010. Because that's when a lot of biotubes started making a lot more custom designs, and people didn't really know how to make a custom design, especially a torso, because they were so dependent on Anika torsos. So I just made mine as wide, but I added shoulder articulation, which I thought was pretty cool. Another thing I might as well mention is the cape. This is Vizon's cape. This is Shadow's third cape, because one I gave away, the second one broke, and this is the last one I think that I have. And I have thought about giving him a custom cape throughout the years, and I decided no, because I think the shorter cape is kind of cool, and it's a little tattered, and I think it looks nice. On the back here, you never really get to see the back of Shadow too much, because, it's always covered by a cape, but there's nothing exciting going on here, except for one dumb thing that I added on years ago. So there's this box piece here, right? This little box, not really special. If you can see here, there are little tiny wires, little tiny strings attached to studs, which that's a much older piece that I don't think it's used enough anymore. And it's attached here onto his chest. These little nipply looking things, and you can call them nipples, I really don't even care. But they're meant to be headphones. If you take that little nub out and string it out of here and plug it into the hole in the side of his head, they're meant to be earbuds. And that was a time when I wore like the hoodie buddy sweatshirts. I don't know if you guys know what those are, but the laces that would hang off of a sweatshirt, those would be earphones. And to kind of symbolize me wearing those for such a long time, I put it into Shadow. And I thought it was cool at the time. It still kind of is, but I don't know, small little detail that I added onto a self-mock because it's something that's going on with me. So the arm design. It has changed since the original version. There's still a Viscerac foot on the back of the arm. The skull armor definitely was added on later on when the Kotorians came out, and it's still a very nice looking piece. Stuff I added later on, like the minifigure hands. A lot of Mata Yellow added to this guy as time went on, because I didn't have the patience to wait for Kitorange. But the upper arm is nice. It's still stable. It's still sharpied, like really tight, and that's super cool. The lower arm, the guns. This, another very well-known thing about Shadow is that he always had two barreled guns under his arms. And I had that since the second version, because the first version of Shadow had no weapons at all. And then decided, like, oh, well, let's make them long range and give them barrels. And the way they would work is that they would be underslung like this on the arm. Very impractical. But, I kept those for such a long time, and then with this version, I decided let's give him 4 guns in each arm, but make them all posable, and make them a part of the forearm instead of just something jutting out the back. And so you can have these, and you can extend the barrel if you so desire. And this is also a time when I was starting to make custom pieces and cut flex tubes. So this can move around. And it's a fancy gun, and then this can swivel. This piece doesn't break. Everything can swivel. That's all a very good time. And it's great. And then later on, I decided to just keep the default here. Just put it over the wrist. Make it a little more practical. Again, sorry about the focusing in these videos. Still trying to figure everything out with that. So yeah, he has 8 guns. And he's got a little tire there on his wrist. Kind of like a little bracelet thing. I never wore bracelets, but it was just a way to cover that up. The hands. I made this guy when Hydraxin came out, and I wanted to make hands just like Hydraxin because I thought that was the coolest friggin' design. I don't care if you made it before Hydraxin came out. Just I think in general the hand design to this day still very used a lot, but people have done enough variations of this original hand design to where it looks fantastic. But this was the original. You can make the claim that putting the knuckle over the hand looks a lot better. And I definitely have done that with more recent MOCs like Minion and like Guardian. But I never thought it looked natural. And I thought with these type of fingers that are already curled, putting them under the hand, under the knuckle, always looked nicer to me. And so I kept that. The proportions in general on Shadow, I think, are funny. Because, like, looking at him now, he's like, wow, he looks, like, really in proportion. Like, everything looks solid. Except for the fact that he has giant hands where his fingertips go down to his knees. And now I make MOCs where the arms are way too short, so I don't even know what my thought process is. Before I go to the head, one more thing I want to cover is the axe that I made for him. I don't use this that often. This was during the time when I first started making Necrospherians, and I wanted to make an axe based off of Shadow. And it's a gun axe. The only reason it's a gun axe is because there are gun barrels in the front of it. But, yeah, that's the thing. It's okay weapon. He can't hold this at all because it's way too heavy for him, especially considering his elbow connections. But, yeah, that's a thing. I just thought I'd show this off. It's not the best. Well, it's a cool looking weapon. It's just he can't hold it. Like, Shadow Gear can hold this without a problem, but he can't. The last bit of this whole entire MOC is the head. I know I'm getting rambly at this point, and, you know, this is a 20-minute long video already, and I'm already at the head. Very well-known mask. This mask, along with a lot of other self-MOCs masks, people, like, oh, this is the Wanua mask. No, people looked at this mask and thought, oh, look, that's Shadow Gear's mask. That's Shadow's. And I still think that's kind of cool. Like, I still look at this mask and I think, oh, that's Shadow's mask. But, I guess before I take the mask off, cool little bit that I never... He's got little guns in his cheeks that you can pop out of there. If you don't want him, you can push him back in. Yeah, that's cool. The custom head. This, is a head design that, I used for another MOC. But I really only made it for Shadow. And it looks very odd. Very thin. Like, very thin. But there are cool little details, like I don't know if the camera can pick this up and focus. You can do it, friend. Friend, you can do it. I have all the faith in you. There we go. That's a lime green stud, and that's a trans yellow stud. Put under there to give a gradient in the eyes, which I thought would be super cool. But this was the first custom head I think I ever made. And it fits Shadow's head, and it fits another mask's head, which will be going on later in the month. You'll see that soon. But yeah, that's that for Shadow. I'm not gonna lie when I say I'm definitely being a lot more methodical. I'm definitely being a lot more rambly with this guy. But this is a review for you guys. First and foremost, of you guys just watching this video and being like, Toa Shadow, I remember that MOC. Oh god, this video's super long. I'm not going to watch that. And even if you don't, I mean, that's fine. That's okay with me. But this is kind of like, I'm keeping this is going to sound so stupid. I want to keep this video around on any hard drive I have and like on the internet as long as I can, because I want this to be like this weird little time capsule that I watch like 5 years from now and be like, remember Toa Shadow? Remember what Shadow was? Here he is! And I think it's funny. Like, even the stupid thing where I tried to turn him into a Necrospherian and, like, he wasn't a Toa anymore, and I went through so many different phases with Shadow. But the look always stayed the same. And he's still the same guy that I remember. And even though he's not my self-mock anymore, this guy's not being taken apart because I'm going to keep him around as much as I can. Also, I'm overly sentimental about stupid things like this. Like I've kept a lot of the old MOCs that I have, like Magma and Hydra being in the in the Toa of America video should prove that alone. But yeah, this is Shadow. This is my ex-self MOC, and I did it on his birthday. So I guess at this point, Toa Shadow is 7 years old. God, I'm old. But yeah. This is Shadow Gear 6235, and I'll see you folks another time.